Tell me about the mood in the locker room at halftime, because I mean, you guys came out looking like a totally different team than you were in the first half.
Coach definitely lit a fire. He got on us a little bit, but that's part of the game. I mean, we're obviously going to have our down of the game, but I mean, it's a matter of finding your way back, just sticking together and just pushing through it till the end.
Ronnie, talk about your composure there at the free throw line.
Well, in practice every day we practice those free throws at the end of practice every day. So, I mean, we come in, we just practice on the free throws, and when I was at the line, I just thought of practice. I didn't take it as a big free throw at the end of the game. I just took it as just another chance to get better, make more free throws.
So the game on the line didn't cross your mind at all?
Not really. I just wanted to get in, make the free throws, and play defense.
It looked like you guys, with about 15 minutes left there, you had a chance to kind of run away with it, and then they kind of snuck back in on you. How, I guess, did you get back into the place where you, I guess, were able to push back against that and kind of stop their charge? Whoever wants to take that.
We had that one bad stretch where we turned the ball over like 3 times in a row, and that allowed them to come back. And as soon as we started taking care of the ball, we were back in the game. And it was great that we kept our composure all the way to the end of the game. So I think that's what won the game.
Sergej, talk about your three-pointer, because Stefan, I'm sorry. Talk about your three-pointer. I mean, you were open there on the left wing. You got a nice pass, and just talk about your mindset at the time, everything you were thinking. I mean, what was going on during that time?
I mean, like Ronnie said, we do that in practice every day. Like in the practice, we do 3, 2, 1 shots, and it didn't cross my mind at all. And that was my first 3 of the night. So I was 0 for 3 before that, and I wasn't even thinking of passing the ball, because when Pat passed to me, I had an open look and I took it, and I got it. I hit it. So.
Was there a time, when they were coming back against you guys, when they were up like 56, 54, that you guys said, "Whoa, wait a minute, what's going on here? I mean, what are we not doing right?" I mean, did you guys start to question yourselves, or did you say, "Okay, let's pick ourselves up and, let's, continue like we did in the first half"? This is for any of you.
We wanted to just keep our composure down the stretch, because we've kind of been through this game before, in a sense, when we played against Anchorage. We wanted to keep our emotional level the same pace, from the start to finish. And we had a bad first half, so we wanted to just finish strong, regardless of what happened in the first 20 minutes. We wanted to finish strong and take the win in the second 20 minutes. So I feel like we all played as a team, down for the last 8 minutes of the half of the game, and we kept our composure, kept our emotional tone down to a minimum, and finished the game strong the way we should have.
Hey, Sergej, talk about just really playing big. You led your team in scoring, but it seems like rebounding was big, especially in the second half. It seemed like everybody was a little more active on the board, especially yourself, against going a guy that's pretty much your height, maybe a little bit taller.
Well, the thing is, Coach really got us because of the boards. We lost boards by 9 the first half, so we really had to go for the boards and pick them up. We knew coming into the game that they're really good at rebounds, especially Rima had 12 the last game, so we really had to push him off the boards, and still he got 8. He got a big one the last minute, so still had to work on that.
Sergej, tell me about the play of Kevin Rima, because I mean, you were defending him, and I think he had 2 blocks on you, and but I mean, just talk about he seemed to be doing everything for them, especially in the last 10 seconds of the game. So talk about the type of game he had for them.
Well, he had a big game. I mean, he didn't score that many points as he did the last 2 games, but he had 8 rebounds as well. So he was really in there the whole time. He had the foul trouble in the first half. He's a really good player, really athletic. So
6 blocks.
6 blocks.
Hey, Pat, describe kind of like the first half of the team, because outside looking in, it seems like you guys come out like a little lethargic. Maybe what was going on in that first half? And it seems like as the first half came to a close, you guys started to, I guess, wake up a little bit.
I think we just came out a little flat. We kind of it seemed like to be dependent on our half-court game instead of sticking to what we're good at, which is fast breaks. And we've kind of gotten away from that a little bit past 2 or 3 games. So I think just getting back to the fast-paced game and what we're really good at is just what kind of boosted us for the rest of the game.
Pat, Stefan mentioned that you guys practice three-pointers. Ronnie mentioned you guys practice free throws. You guys work on tip drills because, I mean, you got your hand on the on Jones's inbound tip. I mean, talk about that play.
I mean, we don't really practice those tip drills right there. I think it's just a matter of not letting the other team get the ball. That's what was going through my head. And I just wanted to do my best to get the ball out of the other team's hands and just get it out of there so that they didn't have an opportunity to score.
Ronnie, it wasn't a super foul-heavy game, but especially towards the end, it seemed like there was a certain element of physicality there. And did it kind of feel like Northwest Nazarene was trying for some revenge here, since you kind of humiliated them in their own barn?
Well, I think they wanted a good game. I think they wanted to come up here and of course get the win because what we did down there, it wasn't they didn't assume it was gonna go down like that. So I think they wanted this game. They wanted it from start to finish. But we pulled through as a team, to dominate. We dominated the second half. That's how we're supposed to do. We want to win on our home court. So we can't let any misdemeanors, any lackadaisical moves or anything like that. We have to come together and play as a team, regardless of what the opponent feels that they need to do.
Because me and Sergej know from last year, when you get in the losing streak in the GNEC, it's really hard to get out of it. And it was really important to get this game at home, and especially before Central game, because that's going to be a tough one too. And like Coach said, we have to get something out of every weekend. And last weekend we went 0 for 2, which was unacceptable. And this weekend we're going to try to go 2 for 0. And I think this was a really, really big game for us.
How do you feel going into the Central Washington game now with this kind of last-second victory under your belt?
Still cautious. They're really, you never know with those type of teams. They press the whole game. They have their best player from last year back 2 weeks ago. So they're going to be better than the last time we played them, and I think we have to be really careful.
We needed a close game, and that was obviously about as close as you could get with those critical possessions down the stretch. So really proud of our guys. Just our last 3 offensive possessions, Andrew Kelly gets a jump hook, and Stefan hits a 3, and then Ronnie Baker makes 2 big free throws. And then our defense, in the last under a minute was solid. So disappointed in the first half, the way we came out, and we had lulls in the second half too. So hopefully this, our guys feel good about this. And, there's nothing easy in this league. They're so even. And, but I really thought Nazarene outplayed us, and we got away with one tonight. But we need to do that. So.
Coach Santo, describe to us when you were telling your team this last couple of times on the stretch, when you're trying to come back and you had the lead, and then when you're trying to close out the defense.
Yeah, I mean, we're just trying to, they were going to be patient. That's the toughest part is, we had to play defense. They were running the shot clock down. Pat, the one play we talked about was, and I don't even know how they scored. We're up 1, and we said that if they scored, bring it. Bring it, Pat. And he penetrated. He got in between and got Ronnie. So, I thought rather than call timeout and have to set something up, we told him, hey, if they score, Andrew, get it in quick to Pat, and let's just push it. And I think we inbounded with about 11 seconds left. The last 4 seconds, we had 2 team fouls. Pat Voeut was trying to foul over there on the sideline in the backcourt. He went after him, and then he didn't foul him, and then it went to Rima. And I don't know if Sergej said he knew what he was doing or not, but that was a great foul on Sergej's part, with us still having 2 team fouls, reaching in and fouling when Rima was driving. Yep.
Coach, it seems like, speaking of Rima, that he was like a complete player for them in the last minute of the game. He was driving the basket. He had a hook shot. I think he was maybe triple team when he got off a hook shot. And just talk about the game he had from.
Well, he was strapped with foul trouble the first half, and so he's been playing great. He had 14 points against us last time, and he's just a load down low. I mean, he isn't doing anything on the perimeter. It's all down low for the most part. Tonight he drove it a little bit, but he's coming off a 24-12 performance against Central Washington, where he got some hoops running, and so we knew he was the main focus coming in. Not only having him come back and play at Fairbanks, but he got 9 points. He had 6 blocks. That was a good stat there too. So the guy that got away from for us was Moore, 32. He we did a great job the first time, didn't score, and he got away from us tonight with some open jumpers, number 32.
What did, rephrasing the question, but is this typical Ronnie Baker in a pressure situation like that? I mean, does he tend to have ice water in his veins when there's like 2 seconds on the clock and you're down by 2 points, and you're down by a point?
Well, I haven't seen him in that situation. We put him in for defense. Tica hit the 3, I believe.
Yeah.
And we put Ronnie in for defense, and they scored. And then he happened, we were just going to push it. So, he happened to be in the game because of the defensive, substitution. And then for him to go up and step up and make those, he's not our best free throw shooter. I think he's probably shooting in the 60s. But for him to step up and make both of them with the timeout was obviously huge and made things somewhat easier on what we needed to do with those last 4.7 seconds.
What did you tell him at the half? What changes did you want to make?
Well, the rebounding was where I was really disappointed. We out-rebounded them there by 15 or 20, and so that's where we started. Then we went to our shooting, which was, you guys have it right here, which was 8 for 32, 25%, and then I think I sent them back on the court. So we were pretty blunt and to the point, but came out with great energy in the second half, and then to Northwest's credit, they got themselves back in the game too. But that first 4 or 5 minutes of the second half set the tone for us, gave us a chance because we weren't very good in the first half.
Coach, you said before that you needed to close the game. You got one. You guys got a win. Given how the Anchorage game went down, almost a similar situation, what do you think that can do for this team now?
Well, I just think getting off our 3-game losing streak, we just needed to, not that we lost a little confidence, but we just, you saw us play, 3 or 4 weeks ago, and so I just think, a close game. Had to make some plays down the stretch to win. It should be great for our confidence. Obviously, we have a tough game on Saturday, but this was a good win for us. Like I told Danny, we're still learning. I've never seen Ronnie Baker in this situation. Stefan Tica has done that before, hit some big threes, and Andrew Kelly's jump over, with a minute to go was he looked like he knew what he was doing and wanted to take it, So those are situations I just haven't seen these guys enough in.
Maybe your clutch lineup now.
Well, I don't know. I that's kind of the way we end games. It's the question is Tica in or Ronnie Baker, and so we rotated. We got Ronnie out. Steph hit a 3. I put Ronnie in. So I don't know. Those 2 moves work, which they don't always work, but generally that's kind of how we finish games.